Good evening and welcome to the commemorative area of the Australian War Memorial for this special last post ceremony. My name is Craig Burrell. Shortly, a member of the Australian Defence Force who is currently deployed overseas will read tonight's story. We would like to acknowledge the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the Australian National Anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the hearts of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Now we will hear the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century.
Good evening, my name is Lieutenant Samuel Yeoman and I'm currently serving with the Australian Army. Today we remember and pay tribute to Lance Corporal Albert Graham John Thornton. Albert Thornton was born on the 27th of September 1902 in Killarney, Queensland, the son of Robert and Sarah Thornton. Growing up in the small town southeast of Warwick on the Southern Downs, Thornton attended Killarney State School and afterwards worked on farms in the local area. In July 1925, he married Lillian Lily Schubert. The couple would go on to have 4 children together. Thornton was a keen horseman, and for most of his life, he worked with stock. At the outbreak of the war, he was working as a station hand on Texas Station. He was 39 years old when he was called up for the militia in January 1942. Thornton was posted to the 1st Garrison Battalion at Gaythorne in Brisbane and promoted to Lance Corporal. Soon afterwards, he was transferred to the nearby 32nd Garrison Battalion at Enoggera Barracks. In February 1943, he was sent to the No. 1 Farrier School at nearby Redbank, and on completing the course, he was graded as a Group 3 Farrier. Thornton subsequently returned to the 1st Garrison Battalion in June, and the battalion was based at Helidon in the Lockyer Valley for the rest of the war. In the afternoon of the 11th of November 1945, Thornton and a woman from the Australian Women's Army Service were exercising 4 horses at Helidon when they were caught in a storm. Ignoring the lessons he had taught to his own children, Thornton and his companion took shelter under an oak tree. The tree was struck by lightning, killing Thornton, the woman, and the horses. Lance Corporal Thornton was 43 years old. He was buried in the War Graves section in the Toowoomba Cemetery. His widow Lily Thornton published these words on the 1st anniversary of his death. "I have lost my darling husband, a love too deep for expression, a grief too hard to express. To have him was to love him, to lose him was pain. Sadly do I miss him when I'm in need of a friend. On him I could always depend, in trouble, grief or pain. I miss your kind and loving words, with you I spent my happiest days. A loving smile, a heart of gold, the dearest husband the world could ever hold. Many a lonely heartache, often a silent tear, longing for my husband I loved so dear. Thornton's name is listed on the Roll of Honour among almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Lance Corporal Albert Graham John Thornton, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Lest we forget.
We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there in Pozières or in the low scrub of Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for watching and wish you all a very good evening.